Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of James Bond Bitcoin Live 0095. Hashtag Blitzkrieg. So, anyways, let me just go quickly in the notes section. So, in the notes section here, I've got Bitcoin Gold as usual. Still no mainnet, as far as I know. Let's see, October 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29, 30, 31, November. That's 10 days. November 1st, so it's November 7th. It's 17 days. How long will it take for them to pre-mine all their coins? My goodness. So anyways, Bitcoin Gold, go ahead and check out their website, see what the hell is going on over there and why they haven't gone live yet. Of course, I got Bitcoin Silver. It's time to stop meme underneath that. Bitcoin Platinum, Bitcoin Uranium, all the coins that are supposed to come out but may never come out because they might have been all jokes. Just for you guys, I have those links there for the Bitcoin potential hard forks. So you can check out the Bitcoin talk forum and kind of get an understanding of, where do all these altcoins start? They all kind of start on these Bitcoin talk forums. And they're nothing more than, in my opinion, I would say a money grab for the most part. So just keep your eye on it and you'll see the evolution of how you start a scam coin. Let me see here. I also have a list of airdrops. I'm sure they update every day. It's just last time I checked, I think it was on the 29th of October. And airdrops are, I guess, for you guys who love to get free money falling from the sky. So I have a link to SegWit Charts. I haven't checked the SegWit Charts. Maybe I'll check in when I do the live stream here and do it live. We'll look at it. Last time I checked, it was down to 8%, up to 12. It'll be interesting to see where it is now with the SegWit2x hard fork coming up in about, I think, 8 days, almost 9 days, 8 days. So I'll have to check. And then I have CoinCodex. So CoinCodex is a listing site. If you're tired of all the BitConnect, banners and you're tired of looking at BitConnect, you can use CoinCodex. I'll probably go onto the website today here. Another one is LivecoinWatch, and I'll check those out today too. I like how it's set up, and I like how there's an hourly, 24, and then a 7-day price movement that you can watch. It'll be interesting to see what happened today. All right, and now we're getting into the meat of this episode. Security alert. This is coming from ParityTech.io blog. If you haven't heard already, the Parity multi-signature wallet is confused. It doesn't know what to do. So it won't do anything because it deleted itself somehow. Anyways, I'll get into that just a little bit. Next underneath is, and I'll be talking about this today, a major vulnerability has frozen hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum. Amazing. I'm glad I don't have any. Well, I do have Ethereum. I don't have any any ICO tokens. Most of these tokens, most of the frozen hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum is locked up in the multi-signature wallet. Maybe some of them are ICO tokens as well. So anyways, underneath that is Coinfloor's policy regarding the SegWit2x hard fork. We'll go over that blog as well. There's some interesting wording in which they used, so I'll check that out, as well as statement on Bitcoin Segwit hard fork by Bittrex. This is coming from their support.bittrex.com, and they worded their blog a certain way. Yes, they will be supporting both chains. It depends. They're taking a wait and see attitude because we really don't know for sure if, first of all, everyone's hopeful that SegWit2x does not happen and never happens. That's hopeful. It most likely, probably, very high chance it will. And then after it happens, nobody knows. But I think I have a good idea, but nobody knows which chain will survive. Now, if you ask me, I think the chain that has the most hashing power and able to do the transactions and mine blocks in about every 10 minutes, that's the chain that's probably going to survive. The other chain, less chance. It's possible, but hashing power does make a difference. It does make a difference. Anyways, I'll get into that in the next thing here. SegWit2x Game Theory Scenarios, Part 1 by Jimmy Song. So I've read his little Medium post here. I'm going to go over some of that and some of his game theory and where he comes up with these numbers and everything. I'll just go over that. And then, of course, I do have a link to the article, to the Coinomi support. You can now, I haven't done it yet because Bitcoin Gold is not live, so there's no point in me doing it because even if I did do it, I split my coins, my Bitcoin Gold coins, it wouldn't matter. I can't do anything with it because there's no mainnet. Sucks. Anyways, I do have a link to Coinomi and directions if you do have any Bitcoins on your Coinomi. Well, you'll be able to split your Bitcoin Gold from it. And it does work. Brian has confirmed that. I have not done it yet, but I will make a video tutorial doing that. Next underneath that is what is Bitcoin and why we have decided to distance ourselves from it. I'm still going to leave that in there. I think it's worth leaving in there for people who want to know more about BitConnect. The more you know, the more informed decision you can make. I'm sure everybody will tell you that BitConnect is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm sure it is, but it doesn't mean I have to, participate in Bitcoin and BitConnect. I'm sorry, did I say Bitcoin? I said BitConnect. So what is BitConnect? Yeah. And then underneath that, James Bond Bitcoin Live 0017. If you want to know the mindset of a BitConnector, of a BitConnect user, watch that video. I did an interview with 3, yes, not 1, not 2, but 3 BitConnect users. And they all rage quit at the end. Well, no, two of them rage quit for the most part. One was stupid enough to stick around and, give out his information wherever we could all follow him. There was one control person who wasn't involved in BitConnect, and he just straight out said it. You're all in the Ponzi. All right. And the video for today, this theme, what you're seeing here is Blitzkrieg. What most people get wrong, myth versus reality. So, when we think about Blitzkrieg, we think about the Germans, World War II. But, that video, Blitzkrieg, what most people get wrong, myth versus reality, it may surprise you. because when I was going to school, Blitzkrieg was definitely used to describe the way the invasion of Poland and other countries were done, according to history and according to my history teacher. But it may not be exactly true. So not everything always appears to be what it seems to be, especially in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And then I do have the link to hashtag yes2x 63. You're looking at it right now. I'll go over that in just a moment. And then Pot of Gold, got a link for Pot of Gold and the Pot of Gold donational address. I haven't checked it yet. If someone did add in to it, I apologize. I haven't checked it. I'll check it later, and then if someone did put some money into it, I'll give out the third clue to the 24-word recovery seed. So next is a link to Hirojashai Space Odyssey Network, as well as Skive, and yes for motivation. So there we go. All right, let's see who's all in the chat now. I have Flapping Plemis. You were here early. You were the first. And Dual Overhead, Camnus, and oh, Tomcat. It's been a while. How you doing? Good to see you. It's me, Boss Lady. How are you? And Hiroja Shibe, Space Odyssey Network. You're all here. Good to see everybody. All right, so let's go on to the meme and to the rest of the show. So Blitzkrieg, hashtag yes2x. That's essentially what you're looking at, everyone. You're seeing a Blitzkrieg tactic being used to essentially take control over the Bitcoin network. If you see my previous episode, I kind of explained how the hard fork would take place, in my opinion. I'll go over it just one more time, going over some game theory over Jimmy Song's Medium post. So keep that in mind, Blitzkrieg. It's I don't think that there's going to be two forks. I'll be surprised, very, very surprised, but it's possible there could be two forks. I think really it's going to be one fork because there is a hashing mining advantage towards one side. I also think that the way everybody's defining what Bitcoin is, especially Coinbase and some of these other exchanges and wallets, are describing it like the most accumulated difficulty. Well, if you have a good majority of the hashing power moving over to one side of a chain in a hard fork with no replay protection, as I was describing in my last episode, you're going to be 5 days behind on the miner chain, and that's at 1 hour delay, 1 hour per block. That's 5 days behind just to catch up. So, anyways, I'll get to that soon enough. But let's go on and let's see what's out here. So first of all, let's check this out. All right, this is coming from Parity.io. Security alert. Everyone's already talked about this, and I'm sure, hopefully, everybody knows about this. But I would like to make fun of it. Everyone gets a turn to make fun of this. So let's see here. Parity alert came out today. Its severity is critical. The product affected is the Parity wallet, multi-sig wallets. Summary, a vulnerability in the Parity wallet library contract of the standard multi-sig contract has been found. So for the most part, what I see is someone was able to basically delete the library, which contains the contract for the multi-signature contract. And so you have wallets that literally don't know what to do with themselves. They don't even know what they're there for. And so this is very, very bad for Ethereum. This is very, very bad for anybody who has multi-sig wallets. This is very, very bad for ICOs that have put their tokens into a multi-sig wallet, because apparently there's up to anywhere from 150 to $300 million worth of tokens, Ethereum and ICO tokens, that are in these multi-sig wallets. And I'm not sure if all of them, or just this particular user who found the bug by accident or on purpose, if it's just their wallet or if it's everybody's wallet. And so apparently you can freeze everybody's multi-sig wallets. Disaster. What amazes me is the price of Ethereum didn't tank. And not only that, I'm hearing rumors that they want to roll back the blockchain to fix this. I'm speechless, as you can tell, utterly speechless. Anyways, let's go on to the next thing here. As you see here, this has come from TechCrunch. A major vulnerability has frozen hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum. That's in the notes section here. You can read about it. Let's see what I can derive from it. All I know is that I don't use Ethereum. I don't think I ever will use Ethereum. I do have Ethereum in my Coinomi wallet. But I don't participate in ICOs. So it's not affecting me one bit. And I feel sorry and I pity the fool who basically locked up their coins into these wallets. I do hear that it has affected all wallets, but again, I can't confirm or deny that because I don't use Ethereum or parity multi-sig wallets at all. I don't think I ever will. Yes, Tomcat, Ethereum DAO 2.0. Well, if they roll back the transactions, then yeah, it's another DAO 2.0 for the most part. So let me go into CoinCodex.com. I'm using, if you're tired of watching or looking at BitConnect, CoinCodex seems to, well, if it loads up, okay, it's loading, seems to be a pretty good listing website, replacement of CoinMarketCap. They got too many banners, in my opinion, and I think CoinMarketCap's not really that great. So let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum has 300, and surprisingly, it's still at 200 in the upper 200s. I'm surprised at that price. There's got to be a lot of hardcore, basically Ethereum diehards out there who can look past all the flaws of the coding, the developers, and to some degree even the whole concept of the Ethereum virtual machine. This concept, considering that its greatest value proposition was that it can avoid regulations with their ICOs. Now that's coming to a close. So I'm just not going to, I'm just not, I just can't, I can't recommend anybody using Ethereum at this point. I don't see why anybody would want to use Ethereum. Like I said, I've said this before. At this point, there's only two types of ICOs at this point. It's going to be your exit ICO, in which they're just going to raise money to exit and dump on the community, dump the project on the community as well. And the other type is just going to be a charity where, you know, you're just giving your money away and getting nothing but a token of appreciation that might be used on a platform that they might create. Other than that, it's a charity. And unfortunately, if they were like a well-known charity, you might be able to write that off as a charitable donation, but you're just going to have to take a loss on it for the most part. So there's that. Looks like the market today, Bitcoin has bounced back, surprisingly. I'll go over the fees, the mempool, and also the chart analysis. So I'll go over that as well. Well, saying, Ethereum being trash has always been trash. That's a little harsh, dual overhead kindness. That's really harsh. I'm just joking, of course. I never really liked Ethereum myself. I always viewed it as competition with Bitcoin, although they always stated that they weren't competing against Bitcoin. But in reality, they are competing against Bitcoin. Although they are different users, different set of users, different set of use case, so to speak. But at the same time, it is competing with Bitcoin. Any coin out there is competing with Bitcoin in reality. Even the hard forks compete with Bitcoin eventually. So, being hostile towards something that's competing is very natural. And if competition is good, that means everybody likes hostility. Is that strange to say? I think so, but everyone always keeps saying competition is good. So anyways, that's that. I'll get back to this a little bit later. Let me, you know what? If you look at the coin dominance here, Bitcoin dominance is at 61%. You know why? Because BitConnect is not on CoinCodex. So even with a BitConnect gone, the market cap is still 2 billion. Amazing. All right, let me go on to the next story here. All right, that's right, the pot of gold. So please donate to the pot of gold. Make it fun for everybody. The QR code with the arrow is the donation address. It's a SegWit address. The address is also in the note section. So you can please donate. And if it gets up to $30, which I think it is, but I still need someone to donate into it, I'll give you the third clue to the third word of the 24-word recovery seed. Or if you're crafty enough, there's a QR code on the right. That is an encrypted private key. You can try to scan that and guess the password, and all the Bitcoins that are in there are yours. And then the QR code on the bottom there is a link to Yellow Fever for You. He gave me this idea, and I'm running with it. So that's a little plug-in for that. All right, so here's Coinfloor. This is a blog from Coinfloor. They're another exchange. I don't know much about them because I don't really go onto exchanges anymore. I find exchanges to be nothing more than honeypots. Most exchanges have been hacked, or they've had some error to the point where they've had to socialize losses to their users. So even if you didn't do anything wrong and you actually made money on these exchanges, they may actually still take money from you, and you end up with a loss. Kind of sucks. Anyways, says here that Coinfloor's policy regarding the SegWit2x hard fork. Now, it seems like they don't want to have anything to do with this, but they will offer those tokens to you. So let me see here. It says here, Coinfloor will allow trading. Let me scroll up here. Coinfloor will allow trading to continue during and after the hard fork. So they will allow trading, and also they're going to be watching very closely how this turns out. If, first of all, if there is a hard fork, which most likely there probably will. Second, they want to see which is the prevailing chain. So as you see here, it says, given the lack of consensus among stakeholders and the lack of replay and wipeout protection. Now, this is the first time I've heard this coming from an exchange. They usually talk about replay protection, but they never really talk about wipeout. So let's address this a little bit. So there are three possible outcomes. Both forks could coexist on an ongoing basis. Okay, that's a possible outcome. SegWit, the current version of Bitcoin, prevails. Okay, that's a possible outcome. Or SegWit2x prevails. All right, that's another. So those are your three possible outcomes. What I found interesting was the fact that they mention the wipeout protection. So I was wondering, what do they mean by wipeout? So let's see if I could find it here. Now, in the first paragraph, right about here, they kind of address that. They say, furthermore, this change lacks mandatory replay protection or wipeout protection. This means that transactions made on one fork can get inadvertently spent on the other fork, and or actions on the SegWit2x fork could become invalid at a later time. This last scenario is not possible the other way around. So this is the first time I've heard of anything like this. Hey, how you doing, Brian? Good to see you. So yeah, I've not heard about this wipeout. Now, the last time I've heard about this, someone said when the fork happens, the SegWit2x fork wouldn't be able to be wiped out. It would be permanently split after that point, but there's no replay protection. So I'm hearing conflicting things here, that once it splits, it'll be separate with no replay protection. But here, they're saying that there's a chance for wipeout protection. In other words, the SegWit2x could become invalid. And one of the game theories that maybe we have not considered or have not thought about was how the nodes operate. The nodes actually do make a difference. Not only just mining and creating blocks, but those blocks have to be validated. And the nodes validate those blocks. So if a miner starts mining and creating blocks that the rest of the nodes, which basically comes to consensus, they all agree whether the blocks are valid or invalid. If the nodes don't recognize invalid blocks, then all the work that the miners have done are going to get wiped out. They're invalid. So that's kind of the thinking that I'm thinking here. So there's nodes. Are they important? I think they are very important. But the problem is, miners run their own nodes. But the question is, I know miners are users. Miners who are on the 2x hard fork, SegWit2x hard fork, they're going to run their own nodes. But their nodes are valid with only other miners who are basically mining on that chain. Now, I don't know about you, but miners who mine blocks, miners, who have mining rigs and mining farms, they typically don't sell to each other. They typically sell their coins, their newly minted coins, to the rest of the ecosystem. and maybe they'll dump it on exchanges. Now, if you consider the fact that the rest of the ecosystem, exchanges runs nodes, users, regular users who have full node wallets, who else? Merchant processors, they have full nodes. Depending on what software they're running, if they're running Bitcoin Core software, version 15, I don't think those nodes recognize or will recognize SegWit2x hard fork blocks. So if if there's a majority of real users, real economic users who are using Bitcoin Core nodes, they will not recognize SegWit2x mine coins. So this is something that maybe people have not thought about. And the fact that it says here that and or valid transactions on SegWit fork could become invalid at a later time should be a warning for people who try to use your SegWit coins without splitting them. Because if you send them somewhere, you're sending your Bitcoins, and then just in case there's a chance that SegWit2x does fail, it doesn't get support. Like maybe it'll get support in the beginning, but what if people realize they're making a mistake because, you know, miners follow the money. If nobody is going to validate their blocks or accept their blocks, and it's only the miners who have joined in mining the SegWit2x chain, miners don't sell their coins to other miners. Miners sell their coins to the rest of the ecosystem. So if you're a rational miner would not mine on the SegWit2x chain and mine on the chain that is the most profitable right now, which would be Bitcoin. And they would be able to sell their coins to the rest of the community, which would validate that transaction. So keep in mind, this is Coinfloor's policy regarding the SegWit2x hard fork. I found this very interesting. They will, they will allow trading on both. They will allow. Apparently, they'll split them. They're not willing to call one side or the other quite yet, which is Bitcoin. And they may not even, after everything's said and done, they may not even offer you the coins, because if one of the chains do fail, whether it's SegWit2x or the current Bitcoin legacy chain, they will follow that chain. But I think you're going to need more than 48 to 24 hours. I think you may have to wait weeks, literally weeks. Now, hopefully, with the Blitzkrieg meme that I did, this will be over very, very quickly. I'm hoping this will be so Blitzkrieg, this attack or whatever defense, it's so fast and decisive in what it's doing that it's over within 24 hours. I'm hoping, because the insanity of this hard fork is just too much. This is a mind playing. This is a mind game. And if people want to commit suicide, like the Parity wallet, if the Parity wallets, if you program something to commit suicide and it does it, you have to question whether that programming is really smart at all. Okay, if I told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Of course not. You would look at me and think I'm crazy. Well, why would you tell a group of people, miners, business leaders, why would they be willing to jump off a bridge? This is insanity. Okay, just talking here. Anyways, let's go on to the next thing here. Right. So statement on Bitcoin Segwit2x hard fork. All right. So let's take a look at this now. Bittrex came out with the statement again, and they're being overly cautious as well. They're basically they're going to offer the tokens. Now they're making the same claim. They may not. There's no guarantee that they will even give out these tokens or there will be any tokens. We don't know which one's going to prevail. They're going to monitor the whole situation. What I found interesting is that currently, it says here in the second sentence of the first paragraph, let me see, right about here. Currently 83% as of block 9, as of block 493413 of mine blocks are signaling support of SegWit2x hard fork. Now this was just yesterday, 2306. I don't know what exactly time zone he's in, but it was yesterday. And so according to this, at least 80% of the blocks have signaled for SegWit2x. So we could assume 80% of the hashing power. I'm assuming they're basing on 144 blocks. So that's a most recent, up to date. I mean, I'm sure you can check by going on checking the blocks yourself. You want to know how high this bridge is? It's very high. It's a very high bridge. Would you jump off a bridge because I told you to do so? Hiroja, you're so funny. So here it is. And it is another contentious hard fork that he's taken the same stance. Markets will be open for trade. Okay, but there may be a 24-hour. Okay, so on Bittrex, approximately 24 hours prior to block number 494640 to the SegWit2x fork block of 494784, they're going to basically close all deposits and withdrawals of your Bitcoin. So you're probably going to see a lot of altcoins being bought up during that time. And to get things moving, transfer your money back and forth to wherever you need. I think like Ethereum is going to be used because Coinbase offers Ethereum. GDAX offers Ethereum. There's a lot of exchanges that offer Ethereum. And then Litecoin will also be used. Matter of fact, Litecoin took a pump. Litecoin went up in prices today. And I also believe, well, Ethereum took a dump because of the whole parity wallet. But I would look at Ethereum and Litecoin being used during that time because they're probably the most liquid of all the altcoins. Maybe Bitcoin Cash, but I doubt it. But Bitcoin Cash will probably be pumped as well. So keep that in mind, people. But again, if you read this article, there will be some trading. There won't be a guarantee that you'll actually get any coins other than Bitcoin that you have. And so please be aware of that. And they will be offering a split token. But at the same time, they're going to be watching. And if one fails or prevails, you may not get any coins. You may just end up one coin. So that's the danger of having your coins on exchanges. If both chains actually coexist and move together, you may get both. But you're at the mercy of an exchange. They may determine that SegWit2x has prevailed or Bitcoin has prevailed. So whatever side you're on, you're risking your Bitcoins or SegWit coins on these exchanges. So please be careful. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, so here's the Medium post. It was written yesterday. And SegWit2x game theory scenario, part 1. So in this Medium post, Jimmy Song basically states that the scenarios that he outlines here probably most likely will not happen. Matter of fact, he said right here, big caveat. This big caveat is that I don't expect any of these scenarios to come to pass. So, but we'll go over them. Just, I'll give you my take. So, talks about the current situation. But let's go over scenario number 1, which is 2x is abandoned. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of core followers, core developer followers, who want 2x to be abandoned. That's why you see the no 2x, hashtag no 2x on their Twitter handles. You're going to need, you need a lot of money, and you're going to need a lot of hashing power to dissuade anybody from going through on that agreement. So 80% are still signaling. Now, people have said that they're signaling, but they don't have to go through with it. Then why are they still signaling? Right? I mean, it's like they're all signaling SegWit. Well, they didn't have to go with SegWit just because they signaled, but yet here we are. We have SegWit. So this whole, this whole nonsense that people have been saying, like just because they signal, it doesn't mean that they're gonna that they have to actually, go through with this. They're signaling for a reason, all right? And they're signaling because they're letting you all know that they're going to go with it. So, people who are in denial, it amazes me. But I think they're slowly waking up, whether they like to or not, and realizing SegWit 2x is going to happen. So that's the first scenario. Again, Jimmy Song doesn't believe this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen either. I think SegWit is going to happen. Scenario number 2, which I have to laugh, is core capitulation. So in the last moment, in the last hour, all right, the core development team is going to go to Jeff Garzik and basically concede to Jeff Garzik and join his team, be part of the Jeff Garzik development team. That's not going to happen. Okay, just that's not going to happen. I think the core development team has always been against this. I don't think they're going to capitulate now. Not going to happen. So I'm sure there's a lot of 2x supporters who want that to happen. Or actually, there's probably a lot of 2x supporters that don't want core to capitulate. They probably just want the core developers to go away completely. So here's scenario number 3, 2x miners honest, no attack. Interesting that he puts that in there. And remember, hint, hint, he doubts any of these scenarios not to happen. So miners will attack. Most likely they will spam the network. And then after spamming the network and hard forking, they will just continually migrate between different chains, keeping the block difficulty at a high percentage, very high. And so I wanted to go over this part here, where he came up with these numbers. Okay, so he's saying the signaling is fluctuating between 85 to 95%. Now, most recently, it's been, what, 93%, according to the Bitrix blog. But he's actually, Jimmy Song here is actually doing a 90%. All right. And so where he comes up with 10 minutes. Crap. There we go. So let me see where okay, 100 minutes. Okay, so he's saying that the legacy chain will have 100-minute blocks. So if you're wondering where he came up with that number, he literally took the 10% out of the 90%. So he took 10 minutes, 10 times, or no, 10 divided by 0.1, and that's how you get 100 minutes. So that's the calculation that he used. That's the calculation that I used yesterday to come up with the 80-20, the 10 minutes and 1 hour. Actually, it was 12.5 minutes on SegWit2x and then 50 minutes on the legacy chain. But I just rounded the numbers to make it easier with my math. So 100 minutes. Now, if that's true, 100 minutes, 100 minutes is what? At least an hour and 40 minutes. So if the SegWit2x chain goes, let me see, a block, 144 blocks, they're actually going to be 11 minutes, but let's just round it down to 10 minutes. I mean, they'll have 144 blocks in one day. For the legacy chain at 100 minutes per block, gosh, I'm gonna have to take out my calculator and figure this out. Let's see how long it would take. 100 minutes divided by, oh man. Oh, I can't do it. Sorry, I can't concentrate. It would take more than 5 days. Okay, my scenario was 60 minutes. It's almost about double that time. So it'd be almost like 9 days. I think it'd be around 9 days or something like that. So there were in the first day of the hard fork, the legacy chain would be behind 9 days. That's on the first day. On the second day, it'd be 18 days. So this is Jimmy Song's scenario is actually worse than my scenario. Okay, that's the that's the first thing. As I go on here, he talks about how eventually in about 4 months, the difficulty will adjust. And that may be true in this scenario. In about 4 months, the difficulty will balance out and adjust. But the problem is, I think that the SegWit chain, the SegWit2x chain, will be the longest accumulated chain. How do they say it? The longest accumulated difficulty. And then the legacy chain, because they didn't have enough hashing power and they're already behind so much in blocks, they wouldn't be the longest block anymore, the longest chain. First of all, they wouldn't be the longest chain. And second, they wouldn't have enough accumulated difficulty. So the way that these exchanges like Coinbase have stated their stance, that they will call Bitcoin with the longest chain with the most accumulated difficulty, they're basically saying SegWit2x will be Bitcoin. And it's unfair because, like, again, the hashing power moves over the first day, right on the first day of the hard fork. The legacy chain would be 9 days behind. That's on the first day. So, but at some point, 4 months later, yes, the difficulty will be the same or balance out to the point where it's going to readjust. Maybe the blocks will be created faster. That may be the case. Maybe they'll be at the same block number. But I think there's something that Jimmy Song didn't think of, or maybe this is just, he's going to write it in his part 2. And there's a long thing here. He talks about it for a while, but that This is a miner-induced hard fork. And so if Bitmain is behind all of this, you have to consider that he probably has a ton of miners being built right now, being manufactured right now. They're not even online yet. They're being shipped to warehouses, being set up. And after the hard fork, he's gonna turn it on, and he's gonna be mining SegWit2x chain. And so there's a scenario that maybe that hasn't been thought of yet. And so there may be something we haven't considered. So if after the hard fork, more miners come online, and they come online towards the SegWit2x, that's not good either. Okay, so there's a lot of factors in here. I think he hasn't, at least in this Medium post, has not written up yet. So keep that in mind, people. The hashing power and the difficulty right now doesn't mean that's going to be the hashing power and difficulty in after the hard fork. Because there's probably a good chance that there's a lot of miners coming on after the hard fork. It's going to be pumped out. Like, you're going to see the hashing rate on one chain just dramatically just go ballistic. Because as far as I know, everyone else, there's not that many manufacturers. So who's going to be building the miners on the for the legacy chain? I mean, anybody? You know, there's not that much. So there's a big hurdle right there. So let's take a look at the difficulty here, or not the difficulty, the fees here. Looks like the fees went down. Looks like the fastest and cheapest transaction fee is 210 Satoshis per byte. I did do a transactions today. I made mine about 200 Satoshis. It's about $4. It was for one transaction, but it did get confirmed relatively quickly. I didn't want to pay too much. I could have paid a little bit less, but it was a trade, so I had to send it right away. So for 476 Satoshis. So let's have a look here. 210 Satoshis, that's right here. So it looks like a lot of it is building back down here again towards the 10 to 60 Satoshis. You can see in the 24-hour period that a lot of transactions have gone through. The mempool has come down, but it seems like it's starting to go back up again. Most of the fees are right around here. Like, people are still doing 300. I guess they're just trying to get their transactions where they want to go because they're getting ready for the hard fork. I also did a time lock address as well, and I set it just like I did yesterday for a block height. I forgot what the block height number was, but supposedly, with my calculations, after the hard fork, on the SegWit2x side, I should be able to get my block released, or my Bitcoins released, available to me, while on the while on the legacy chain, I'll have to wait 5 days. So I'm just going to do that for the test, and I'll share with you the results. So that's what the fees looks like. Let's check out the mempool real quick. All right, so let's have a look at the mempool real quick, and it's trending down. It's trending down. Still not going below 5,000, but it looks like you will get your transactions confirmed. If you did 10 Satoshis per byte, it will still get confirmed. Anything lower, I think you just have to wait longer. I think right now it's probably going through the lower fees. It'll be interesting to see when it gets pumped up again. What is it? What is today? Today is Wednesday. So Wednesday, we'll see what happens when we get towards Friday. If it gets a lot of transactions in the mempool here. So, okay, so dual over cameras, you're saying like people don't care about the price of fees or the fact that it takes 7 weeks for a transaction. Well, if you put enough fees onto it, it can get into the next block. You just have to know what the fees are. They just want the price to go up. It's becoming difficult to find something to drive the price down. Yes, I agree. It is. And I'll go over the chart analysis here real soon. So current mempool transactions is 10,168 transactions. And so, but I don't think it's going to go down below 5,000. It just hasn't been doing that. If it does, something's about to happen. If the transaction goes below 5,000 and starts going down to almost nothing again in the mempool, something's about to happen. So let's go to the chart analysis. And then while that's loading, let me go on to LiveWatch market cap and see what's going on over there. Let's see if this thing ever loads. There it is. Okay, so here's another listing site, livemarket.com, LivecoinWatch.com. And here you can pretty much see what it is on the hourly, on the 24, and on the 7-day. And so an hour on Bitcoin, we got a 36% increase in price an hour ago. 24 hours is a 1% increase. 7 days ago is a 14% increase. Now, Bitcoin Cash is surprising. 7 days ago, it's a 39% increase. So if you held on to your Bitcoin Cash, dollar-wise, so there you go. There's some increase in price. Ethereum has actually gone down in the past 7 days, but just today it's actually gone up in price. So nothing can just drive. People really believe in that project. I'll give you that much. I mean, they see through all the flaws. They lose all this money, and they're okay because back the blockchain to get your money back. Doesn't make sense, but some people like that a lot, apparently. So no Bitcoin, no BitConnect here. So interesting. So I want to just show that before I go into the chart analysis, because I do like the 7-day percentage here, and it gives you an overall feeling of market. I think the 1 or the 24-hour, it's just a little too short. I mean, it's great to have a daily thing, but you really want to look to see the longer trend. And it's live too, so it moves. All right, so let's have a look here. All right, I'm on the weekly. And let's draw some lines. Dual overhead cannabis, you probably want to try to split your coins because if the hashing power is 80% going to the SegWit, you're going to get your SegWit transactions done before your Bitcoin transactions. Transactions are going to be done much faster than your and plus you probably want to dump the coin. You want to dump your SegWit2 coins, your SegWit2x coins, and try to get more Bitcoin. Just saying. You never know. All right, so let's zoom in here. And that's on the weekly. I'll go into the hour real quick and take a look at see what's happening here. All right, so it's like that upper channel looks like it's holding, and it's probably going to hold that price. It's breaking out of this little. Let me see if I could draw a line. This line first, but so there we go. We'll draw this simple line to illustrate that it's breaking out of that small trend line right there, what you saw. If you can call that a breakdown in price, that's more of a simple correction. It's obviously broken, and it's pushing the price up higher. The lowest it's ever gone was what, 39 something. I'll take a quick closer look here. So 30 right here. 30. Sorry, not 39. 69.22 and 10 cents. That was the lowest low right here, and it wasn't quite low enough. Line here, you'll see the line. I think that's a really good support. The fact that it didn't hit that line at all and then go below it, this is a really good support. And so we're breaking out, and all we have to do, high, there you go, and it looks like a range. Looks like it's going to be a range. When I see two parallel lines like that, very close to parallel lines, it could be bouncing up there for a while. Yeah. Let me see on the 1 day. Wow, the 1 day looks good. So the 1 day, right about here. This candlestick right here, it just touched the moving average, and it's bouncing off the moving average. So that looks good. If it's doing that, there's a really good chance that you can make a higher high. And then let's look at the 3 day. And the 3 day, there's still a little gap. There's a little gap here, but if the price pushes up higher, this average is going to pull up, and it's probably going to touch the bottom of this candlestick. You look at it, hindsight 2020, it'll look like one of these, because if you've been watching this on a daily basis, you'll see that it doesn't, at the time, it didn't touch. It only started touching the average. The simple moving average started moving upwards as the price went up higher, and it looks like it's touching. So hindsight, it looks like it was touching. Then you should have bought then, but it doesn't always look that way at the time, because it's the moving average still moving. It takes about 2 to 3 candlesticks before it actually stays in one place. So this line will still move on you, so it's not finished. But so far it looks good. If the price moves up higher, it could pull up that average, the simple moving average, the weighted simple moving average, and it could end up touching the bottom of this candlestick. And when you look at it, hindsight 2020, you would say to yourself, "Oh, it's so obvious. I should have bought." But that's not how it works. Look here. Well, it looks good so far. It looks like it's touching the bottom of this trend line and bounced off of it. And then if it can make a green candle, once it makes a green candle and pushes up higher above the, let me see here, the high, 7,590, or is that 7,500? I think it's 7,590. So 7,590 is the all-time high. All it has to do is break above that, and you'll see another liftoff, and you can potentially see another candle like this, because every time you have to keep making higher highs. There's no doubt about it. Once it stops making higher highs at this point in time, being so close to the hard fork, it's going to start reversing. That's when the unwinding happens. Like people have bought in so much, okay, that you're compressing a spring, so to speak. And once you can't compress it anymore, the energy released from that compression, now in this case, it's going to be going down in price. But please watch out for that. Will continue to make higher highs, the price will keep going up. And my target price is about 10,000. So hopefully we can reach that, and I can buy a new Lambo. All right, so this is going to conclude this episode here. Let me see here. Onto the meme. There we go. Blitzkrieg. I'm hoping when this hard fork happens, or if this hard fork happens, that it ends very, very quickly. I hope it's not drawn out very long. I don't think it will. If I use the time frame that Jimmy Song is using, which is 100 minutes per block, literally that's 9 days. You'd be on the first day of the hard fork. The legacy chain would be 9 days behind. And I think I'm not sure when the next adjustment is, if it's another 1,000 blocks or another 2,000 blocks. But for the adjustment, it would take a very, very long time for the first month, for the first difficulty adjustment. As far as the other chain, the SegWit2x chain, they're just going to chug along. And I have this weird feeling in the back of my neck somewhere, in the back of my mind, that there are just warehouses full of Bitmain miners that haven't come online yet. They're not online. They're actually being installed. They're on the racks. They're ready to go, or they're being delivered to the warehouse, and they will be ready to go. And once the hard fork happens, they're going to get powered on, and they're going to come online. And what you're going to see is the continuation difficulty increase, hashing power increase, going towards the SegWit2x, which would take the overall hashing power above 90, above 100. Okay, there's that information may not be available to us right now. And if you think about game theory, if I was like Jihan Wu, right? If I was Bitmain, that's exactly what I would be doing. I'd be like making Bitmain miners like crazy right now, getting them ready, having them ready to be shipped to the warehouses, to the mining farms. And then once the SegWit hard fork, SegWit2x hard fork happens, that's when I would be turning those mining rigs on, putting them online, and increasing the hashing power to SegWit2x. Um, that wouldn't necessarily hurt the legacy chain, but that would definitely give the hard fork chain a leg up as far as um, being the longest chain with the most accumulated difficulty. And then that would literally put the legacy chain behind. And it wouldn't matter how long, it would always be behind. It wouldn't be the longest chain anymore. It wouldn't even be the most accumulated, longest difficult chain with the most difficulty, by definition of Coinbase and some other exchanges. So I, I don't have high hopes that there's going to be two forks and they're going to be kind of side by side competing. You won't be able to transact on your legacy chain. So if you're thinking about, you know, moving your bitcoins, quote unquote bitcoins, after the hard fork, that may be hard. That may be difficult. And we have to come to a reality that maybe the exchanges will have to, all right, they'll have to move everything to the SegWit2x. You have to be prepared for that. Um, what does that mean? That means basically there will be one chain that's going to prevail, in my opinion. And it does not, it right now it does not look like SegWit2x, or it doesn't look like Bitcoin Legacy is going to be that chain. It doesn't look like it. All right. If I'm looking at the hashing power and I'm thinking about all the scenarios that are happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, that could be happening. Again, if I was Bitmain, I'd be, making a lot of mining rigs right now, Bitmain mining rigs. I would be having them delivered to empty warehouses of in the mining farms, and they would be getting ready. And once the hard fork happens, then it would come online. So there's a lot of things that we don't see right now. We're just making assumptions on current difficulty. So keep that in mind, please. All right. So thank you, everyone in the chat. Dual overhead camness. You're always here. Thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. Thank you. It's me, Boss Lady, as well, Hiroja Shive Space Odyssey Network. And I think Brian was in here for a while. He may still be in here. And then also, I don't know if Tomcat's around, but hopefully you are. And also Fud Machine. I didn't see you come in. Good to see you. And Flapping Plymouth. If you're not around, you always come back and leave a comment. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. I hope you appreciate this video today. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned, everyone. Bye now.